everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Carly. I put the Carly in Positively Carly. I'm so glad you're joining me today. Today I wanted to talk to you about the ups and the downs of my insulin experience. I have 3 ups and 3 downs to share and to go over. First, I wanted to tell you guys I started taking insulin about 2 months ago. And prior to that, I was taking metformin. So it's been a change, and it's been a ton of lessons being learned. So it's been insane. So I was diagnosed, like I was saying, I was diagnosed with diabetes 7 years ago. And I had been taking metformin prior to starting the insulin, and I hated being on the metformin. But I really didn't want to go to the insulin or start taking the insulin because of the fact that in like my mind's eye, if I started taking insulin, that would mean that my chronic disease is way worse than I thought. And I couldn't bring myself to deal with that. So the issue with being on metformin, and it was absolutely no treat. So being on metformin was no treat because I was in constant and consistent gastrointestinal pain for at least like 75 to 80% of the time that I was taking it. It was not good. So the turning point for me to switch to insulin started. I had like been really bad about taking my blood sugar the entire time I was on insulin, not on insulin, I'm sorry, I misspoke, on the metformin. And I had decided one week just to test it for an entire week, just to see if even the metformin was working. And I was never under 200. My numbers were in the low 2s and the mid 3s, and it was at that point I realized that something really had to change. In my previous video is my whole experience in the journey getting to the insulin part of my life. So it's been an interesting 2 months. So let's get started with all the ups, shall we? You ready? Here we go. Up number 1. Since I started insulin, I am no longer in gastrointestinal pain, and it has been lovely. It's like for the first time in 7 years, I feel like a fully functioning human that actually can manage their body, and I'm not taken completely by surprise that I would have to run to the bathroom for like every 30 minutes. And I will take that win over and over. So no more gastrointestinal pain that's a win. Win? Is that how you do it? I think that's how you do it. I don't know. Up number 2. Up number 2 is, since being on insulin, it's definitely directed me to implement more ways of self-care in my life. Not like the eating chocolate cake type of self-care. I'm talking about like truly being kind to myself in ways that I needed, in ways that I need to get out of my own head. And one of the things that my dietitian said to me when she was educating me on the use of insulin and diabetes overall, she said that stress is like one of the biggest factors in your blood sugar. And she really encouraged me to do all the things that would make me feel better in a really practical way. So she encouraged me to do the working out for 30 minutes every day. And she encouraged me, not to, be scrolling on the clock app for hours before I go to bed. And she actually encouraged me to go to bed early so that I'm getting all the rest that I need. And I am not gonna lie, I have a terrible addiction to the clock app. It's really bad. It's bad, but I have made a conscious decision, like this past week, I made a really conscious decision not to be on it as much, especially not at night. Like I stopped like maybe 2 hours before I went to bed, and it's been a crazy week. It's been a crazy week. My husband had COVID. I wasn't even able to sleep in my own bed this week, so it's been crazy. But, you know, he's on the mend. He tested negative twice, so we're in good shape there. But it's been really, really hard in that regard. But one of the things that I allowed myself to notice about me is that I spend a lot of time on certain apps to numb myself out. And it's like really seeing myself do that is really making me understand that I'm not giving myself the time and attention, and I could really also be using that time to connect with myself, connect with my husband, connect with our son. Like I could be using all that time that I'm just like mindlessly scrolling to actually engage in something else, even like, you know, cleaning my husband's side of the bedroom, which I need to do so badly, or, you know, just like having a conversation. And I'm really taking notice of that, and I'm really trying to change that about myself. Up number 3. So being on insulin has definitely makes me respect my own health a lot more. So as many of you know, in previous videos I've said, you know, I've worked in the healthcare industry for at least 15 years. And this past year, I've been working in the product side of healthcare. So I work for a manufacturer now. And it's been really eye-opening because the manufacturer I work with, they do a lot of work with diabetic foot care. They deal with diabetic foot ulcers. They deal with diabetic amputations. And, you know, I gotta tell you, seeing what this disease does to your feet is really, really scary. Like up close and personal. I've seen our product like help save people from getting amputations, but diabetes is a killer. And it was actually because of that information and like, you know, working in that particular field that I realized that, you know, being on insulin is going to be a conduit to take care of my health. It's a treatment for my disease and my illness that I have, but I know that ultimately I am the only person that is responsible for the work to do to actually get me off of insulin at some point. And that right there is my goal, is that at some point I'm doing all the things I need to do. I'm creating a more practical eating and culinary lifestyle for someone that has diabetes. I am doing the workouts. I work out at least 7 days in the week. I work out at least 5 out of that week. This week was a little weirder. I did only work out 5 days this week, but this week was weird because you know, my husband was sick, so I didn't get to do all the things I needed to do. But the thing is, I'm really proud of myself because I did do it. Like I managed to do the things that I need to do. So, you know, I'm being practical about my eating. I'm being practical about, you know, going to the gym and taking care of myself in that regard. And I'm really trying to do all the things that I need to do in order to take care of myself. And, you know, respecting my own health for the first time, I gotta say, is a challenge, but it's something that I'm willing to do because at some point I want my diabetes to be manageable. Either I want it to go away completely, or it's something that I can manage with my own diet and my own natural blood sugars. All right. It is downtime. So, down number 1. You guys, insulin is expensive. It's expensive. Is there a cheaper alternative? Yes. Is that alternative appropriate for me right now? No. It is a 0 out of 10. I would not recommend. It is pricey. The thing is that my insulin comes in these trusty dusty pre-filled pens. This is not pre-filled, obviously, because it's like empty. But it comes, I get 5 of these pens that are pre-filled, and they have, I think, 100 units. So it's like 3 ml per pre-filled pen. So usually it takes me maybe a week and a half to go through one. But they're pricey. I had a physical last week with my doctor, and I did ask her. I said, is there a way that I could just get a vial and draw it myself? Which I'm fine. I've done that. I've done that with other medications before. I have no issue doing that. And she said that yes, I can do that, but she would want me to meet with the diabetes educator and the dietitian again, and it's a whole thing. So ultimately, we've decided I'm just going to stick with the next round of my pens. I did download a savings card with the manufacturer, so that should help us out a little bit on the savings. But I gotta tell you, I thank God every day and my husband for having really good health insurance that really covers a big bulk of it, but it's still over $100 every like 2.5 months. So yeah, that's tough. It's a tough one. Yeah. Down number 2. Giving myself a shot in the stomach every night. I don't have a fear of needles. They don't bother me. The needles that they give you for those pens are really tiny. They're called the nano needles, so they're crazy small. And I've gotten to a point now when I inject the needle, it doesn't really hurt. But when the medicine is actually being injected into your body, it stings for like a good 20 seconds. And when I first started, I would squeeze my husband's hand. Oh, it was tough because it would like pulsate. It would like pulsate and sting so bad. It was rough. But I've gotten to a point now that I've started giving myself the shot in the lower part of my stomach, and I switch sides every day. So it's like one night I'll do the left, one night I'll do the right. I don't do it in like I don't really do it above my belly button anymore, because like I realized I was like really hitting certain muscle groups, and that was tough. I actually did it one time where, your underoos sit. You guys know that's bad. It was really bad. But yeah, that's still hard. My final down, number 3. Number 3 is dealing with the reality of my own choices. In 2021, I had actually come to accept that I was always going to be a bigger person. I was always going to be in a big body. And I had made peace with that. I stopped dieting because they don't work. I mean, even my dietitian, my registered dietitian even said the same thing to me. But I had come to the conclusion that I did not need to do all the things that society said I needed to do in order to fit into this world. I was ready to just be fat and sassy and eat all of the things and not think about any of the consequences. The problem with doing that is I am killing myself slowly. And do not get me wrong, I am not here to tell you that the way that you're living life is not the way you should live your life. If you are a bigger bodied individual and you don't have a chronic illness, because I honestly do believe you can be healthy at any size you are. I'm a big believer in that. I'm a big proponent of that. If you don't have a chronic illness and you don't have to take pharmaceutical medicine to manage any health issue, then I am 100% on your side for living your life the way that you want it, and I always will be. I will always do that for you. But for me, my issues with food are horribly disordered. I grew up in a house that was just a breeding ground for toxic low self-esteem. I mean, like most adults, their intentions were very well-meaning, but their execution of those intentions, um, like left a lot to be desired. You know, I spent a lot of time abusing food because it was a rebellious act. The diets in my home were chronic and consistent, and the use of the term, let's be bad and eat something naughty, was a phrase that I heard more often than not. I saw that losing weight deemed you to be a good person, but gaining weight deemed you to be a minion of the devil himself. And I say all of this has taken me a long time to learn that it's a much bigger issue with childhood trauma. Where I am now, I see that it is my responsibility to address it and to manage my reaction to it. And it's hard. It's so hard. It's one of the hardest things that I think I've ever done. I mean, I would walk 100 miles every single day if it meant that at the end of it, I could completely numb myself out with a carton of ice cream and a box of Twinkies. The reality of this now is that I'm forced to make better choices with my food and my lifestyle, and it's hard. It's so hard when you've never really been taught or given the tools of loving yourself means to also take care of yourself in a manner that feels really foreign to you, or feels really foreign to me. But I am doing the work. I am doing the work. It is getting easier, and I can see that. And I'm not there yet. I'm not, but I do see that on this path, there is definitely a light at the end of this tunnel, and that's the light I'm headed towards. So I appreciate everybody coming and sticking around for my ups and my downs. It's great. If you haven't, please hit that like button, subscribe. I'm really trying hard to grow this channel. I love making content. And it's been such a joy and a blessing to like make videos about this. And I also make videos about my family. I'm a special needs mom. I'm happily married to my husband. We've been married for 21 years. Sorry, I didn't get to finish that, but our life is great. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. I hope everyone is having a great day and a great time, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks, guys. Bye.